Welcome and count yourself lucky to be watching this video because I'm about to share with you one of the biggest mistakes many young men make in their 20s and early 30s, a mistake that often leads them to a destination they never imagined for themselves. Sorry to my beautiful women who might be watching this video. In today's lesson, I decided to share with my men one powerful mistake that I grew up watching my brothers from different parents made, which ended them in a miserable destination. Though you are not forbidden to learn this lesson, you can as well teach your children while growing up to avoid it. You know, I grew up in a society where people seem to follow the same pattern of life. And trust me, if you find yourself in such an environment while carrying a different ambition in your heart, it can be extremely difficult to achieve your goals while remaining surrounded by people who are all moving in the same direction. As I was growing up, I watched several of my older brothers from different parents live lives that no one would wish for themselves. When I think about how they were years ago, young, energetic, ambitious, and full of promise, and compare that to how they ended up struggling later in life, I realize something very important. They all seem to make the same mistake, and that one mistake led many of them to the same disappointing destination. Before I share this lesson with you, I want you to promise me one thing. If you find value in what you're about to learn, share this video with your friends and loved ones so they too can avoid making the same mistakes. Also, subscribe for more daily financial lessons designed to help shape your future. Now, what was the mistake? The common mistake I noticed was that they took on more responsibilities than they were supposed to during the most important years of their lives. In many poor families, especially if you happen to be the firstborn, there is often an expectation that you will carry the entire family on your shoulders. From a young age, you are reminded that your younger siblings depend on you and that one day you must become the family's savior. But as a young man who is still trying to build his own future, you have to be very careful. Unless your parents are completely unable to provide for the family, do not rush to carry every responsibility on your head. You cannot save everyone while you are still struggling to save yourself. Many young men sacrifice their future trying to solve problems that were never theirs to solve, and before they realize it, the years have gone by and they have nothing to show for all their sacrifices. And do you know why I said earlier that many families seem to follow the same pattern? Because almost all those brothers made another mistake. They got married and started having children in their 20s. Now imagine yourself in this situation. Your family already depends on you financially, and you are trying to reduce some of those responsibilities so you can create room to build your future. Then, on top of that, you voluntarily add a wife and children to your list of responsibilities. How do you think that will end? At that point, almost everything you earn is consumed by responsibilities. You cannot go to your father and say, "Papa, I cannot take care of my wife and children." He will ask you, if you could not take care of a family, why did you get married in the first place? And that's when you realize something painful. You trapped yourself. The little money that could have been invested in learning valuable skills, starting a business, building assets, or creating a better future is now being used just to survive from month to month. And if you look around today, you will notice something interesting. Many men have children, but are no longer with the mother of those children. Life becomes difficult when responsibilities arrive before preparation. At the beginning, everything looks promising. You have dreams, ambitions, and plans for the future. The woman believes in your potential because she sees a man who appears to be moving toward success. But as the years pass, reality begins to test those dreams. Rent must be paid. Food must be bought. School fees must be settled. Medical bills appear. Responsibilities continue to multiply. Suddenly, the future that once looked bright becomes a daily struggle to survive. This is why I always tell young men to focus on building themselves first. Build your skills. Build your income. Build your network. Build your character. Build your foundation. Marriage is not a race, and fatherhood is not a competition. There is no reward for arriving early if you arrive unprepared. Many young men spend their best years trying to impress people instead of improving themselves. They want to look successful before they become successful. Never make that mistake. Spend less time trying to look rich and more time becoming valuable. There is one thing I want every young man to remember. If you are born a man in this world, one of your greatest battles will be against poverty. Fight that battle with everything you have. Work hard. Learn valuable skills. Invest in yourself. Stay disciplined. Refuse to quit. Because whether people like to hear it or not, financial stability changes almost every area of your life. It gives you options. It gives you freedom. It allows you to make decisions from a position of strength rather than desperation. Poverty closes doors, while financial stability opens them. That is why you must treat your 20s and early 30s as your years of building. While others are wasting time trying to impress people, you should be investing in your future. While others are chasing temporary pleasure, you should be creating permanent value. And if you find yourself living in a society where everyone follows a pattern that leads to struggle, have the courage to break that pattern. Sometimes the greatest decision you can make is changing your environment. Surround yourself with people who think bigger, dream bigger, and work harder. The people around you can either pull you down or push you forward. Never underestimate the power of your environment because your environment often determines your direction. If everyone around you is moving toward failure, eventually failure will begin to look normal. But if you surround yourself with disciplined, ambitious, and successful people, their habits and mindset will begin to influence you as well. That is my message for you in today's class. If you really learned something from me, do well to share this video with loved ones and friends. Tell me in the comments what you really learned from this lesson, and if you enjoy lessons that help you build wealth, subscribe to Rich Mindset for more powerful lessons on creating financial freedom. I would also appreciate it if you tell me where you are watching from in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe wherever you are learning this from, and never stop building the future you deserve.